Oil rigs. One of the most dangerous yet rewarding jobs an American can do. One of the few jobs that will make you choose between burning alive and drowning. These are just 2 of 6 outcomes that could happen to an unsuspecting newcomer of certain unsafe oil rigs. It's a bright summer day. You've applied to and successfully gotten a job at an oil rig after 12 weeks of grueling and slow-paced training. However, after your first paycheck, all of your work will finally pay off. If you survive, that is. The oil and gas extraction industry has a high occupational fatality rate, averaging roughly 25 to 27 deaths per 100,000 workers. Between 2003 and 2013, 1,189 employees died, mostly due to transportation incidents, equipment accidents, and fires. But that's a much quicker way to perish compared to what you're about to go through. You walk into the rig's elevator because you forgot something in your quarters and wanted to retrieve it. However, the elevator starts making funny noises, then comes to a complete stop, refusing to work. You do everything you can to try to get it to work, but to no avail. Typically, in a situation like this, the emergency power would kick in. But the wires were damaged in a storm last night, meaning all you can do is wait for help. 30 minutes go by. Nothing. This oil rig in particular is incredibly understaffed, meaning the probability of you getting saved is decreased. It's officially been 2 hours and your stomach starts to growl. Lunch was supposed to be an hour from now, but you're stuck here. A few more hours pass, and you're still there. You pass out from the humidity in the elevator, combined with your starvation, due to the lack of food you've had lately. It's been days. You're feeling much weaker as each minute passes. Eventually, after a week with no food or water, you die of natural causes. Luckily, something like this has a very low chance of happening because of the trained personnel always on standby to help. This was grueling, but not as painful as what's to come. Storms and tsunamis. It's a cold night on the rig. You step outside for a smoke break after hours of hard work. Suddenly, the ship sails into a rough patch of water, and you get rocked back and forth after a giant wave attacks the rig with no control over where your footing lands. You accidentally fall off the rig and plummet over 100 feet into the water with no way to get back on. Falling off of a huge boat into cold water typically has a huge mortality rate. It's pitch black outside. The water is freezing, and the water is pushing you further and further from the boat every few seconds. Even if help was on the way, it'd be hard to reach you due to the strength of the waves. You drift off to sea. You never come back. After a few hours, the ice-cold water gives you a severe case of hypothermia, and after a few days, you don't make it. Long falls. Falling into the ocean at night is terrible, but at least there's a very small chance at getting saved. However, when plummeting to your death, there isn't. It's a normal shift. The derrick man is about 80 feet up on the derrick board. They're pulling drill pipe out of the well. You're clipped into your safety harness like you're supposed to be. You realize you need to move a few feet to guide the next stand of pipe. You unclip your lanyard with the intention to reattach it at the next anchor point. This is called transitioning tie-off, and it's supposed to be done carefully, usually with a double lanyard system. Right as you're between anchor points, your boot slips on a damp surface. You then fall 90 feet with nothing attached to your body. Obviously, you don't make it. Accidents like this and similar to this often happen due to fatigue during long shifts, poor communication, and small skip safety steps. When doing a job like this, it's important to always be fully aware of what's going on around you and take every safety measure possible. Your life is fragile and should be treated as such. Cranes. It's nighttime on the rig. You're helping guide an inexperienced crane move a massive steel pipe weighing around 230 pounds. You step too close to where the crane operator is lowering the load without noticing due to being exhausted from a long 12-hour shift. The inexperienced crane doesn't give the job his full attention, releases the load with you under it, and crushes you to death instantly with no time to react or get out of the way. Electrocution. It's late in the evening, and the rig is slick with seawater from the waves crashing over the deck. You're checking a pump in the engine room. You lean over to adjust a control panel, not realizing that one wire's insulation is damaged and touching bare metal. As soon as your hand makes contact, electricity arcs through the wet metal and into your body. You convulse instantly. The shock is too strong to survive, and the machinery keeps humming, unaware of what just happened. It's fast, silent, and deadly, all because the rig was wet and the wire was exposed. This last scenario in particular is the worst because it's actually happened. The Piper Alpha disaster. At about 9:55 p.m., A condensate pump that had been under maintenance was mistakenly restarted. Its pressure relief valve had been removed earlier in the day, sealed only by a temporary metal plug. Escaping hydrocarbons ignited, triggering a massive explosion that destroyed blast walls and spread fires across the platform's interconnected modules. Only 61 people within the vicinity survived that day, while others did not. 30 bodies were never found. These are the only victims I was able to identify. These people were brave young men, fathers, husbands, family members. Every single one of them mattered. A moment of silence for all of them, please. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you ever intend on getting involved in a dangerous work environment like an oil rig, make sure you're attentive, careful, and cautious. Have a nice day. I love you all.